It's a black screen.
Kaylee Stewart. Yeah, true.
And it's only 30 seconds long.
Oh, Kaylee. What? Chris, man, you know how to do this? You know how to do it?
Wait, I want to make sure I get like into the thing.
It's like a black screen. We can't even see anything on YouTube, so I don't know.
What do you mean?
It's like a black screen when you pull it up on YouTube.
Do you think I know how to do this?
I don't know.
Maybe it's these things. Do you have it recording?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it says it's live.
It says it's live, but... Oh, wait.
Oh, there it goes.
All right, never mind.
We're good. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear it?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It's a little behind, but that's okay. Should I just stand here the whole time?
I don't...
Yo, is Chris on TV now?
Yeah, Chris is on TV.
Dude, that's awesome. Chris, you're on TV, dude.
Who's that cutie on screen?
Chris, you're on TV.
Oh.
Enjoy.
Is it filming right now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
on
awesome. It's on YouTube. Oh. How many viewers you got? 0. Dang. I might hop on. The operation here. Funeral service?
So can we just like leave it? Or do we have to watch it? I don't know. I'm just gonna stand behind here because I don't listen. Should I be on YouTube then? Check. Yeah, it's a little behind.
Probably a good like 30 seconds behind.
Yeah. Just have it like menus.
All right, thank you for choosing to come down here. Did everybody get a glow stick? Or maybe, okay. I apologize that they are so tiny. When I ordered them, I thought, wow, what a great deal. And then I got them in the mail and I suddenly realized why they were so inexpensive. So, today is Eva Corday in Indiana. Mrs. Brown and I were able to travel with her in the summer of 2018. To Poland to visit Auschwitz. I went back again last summer and traveled with her, and I was on the trip with her when she passed away July 4th. So at the end of this presentation, I have a video of you, or for you, of her at the camp the afternoon before she passed away. That you guys will get to see her talking a little bit at the camp. So we want to very quickly do just a little bit of background information before we get to the videos. So, and show you a few pictures. Auschwitz is a concentration camp that opened in 1940. The first set of prisoners at the camp were not Jewish people. They were people who were part of the Polish resistance, the Polish community members that had a lot of power. So in 1940, when Auschwitz opened, it was a camp that was designed to house Polish prisoners of war. It wasn't until 1942 that the first transports of Jewish prisoners arrived at the camp. Eva arrived in 1944. This was part of the Nazi government's final solution. So part of what they did at Auschwitz was try to eliminate the Jewish population. So once the Jewish prisoners arrived at the camp, most of them were sent immediately to gas chambers and the crematorium. This is probably the most famous image of Auschwitz. This is actually at the camp where it was mostly Polish prisoners. So when you see images of this gate, this is Auschwitz I. This is not where most of the Jewish prisoners were brought. This is also at Auschwitz I. This is the set of barbed wire fences that the famous liberation pictures were taken in. So when you see the liberation pictures, the Russian army marched the remaining prisoners down these barbed wire strips to get the footage that they then sent out to the world. This is a picture of Eva and her twin sister during one of those marches, so that you can kind of see where she was and then what the liberation video showed. This is Eva at the same spot in 2018 with Mrs. Brown and I. She would walk her groups down this strip of land at Auschwitz and scream loudly, "I am free," and smile and laugh and say that she had beat the Nazis, which she took great pride in. This is Eva at the museum in one of the barracks. There is a full-size photo of her in the barrack on one wall. It's her and Miriam. So when she would go to Auschwitz, after she did her talks with her group, she would go and sit in this barrack in front of this picture and tell people that as they came through, she was the only living exhibit within Auschwitz, to kind of give you a little picture of who she was.
This was one of the most touching things that we did at the concentration camp, because people who didn't come with Eva, they were just there visiting for other reasons, would find out that she was a survivor, and they would see the joy on her face, and often they would weep. It was an amazing experience to be there with somebody who was not just a survivor, but a survivor who had thrived, who had decided to forgive and to heal and to see this as a place of overcoming, because it's really a very sad and somber place, as you can imagine, and she kind of reset that entire tone for whomever she came in contact with.
This is Eva outside of Block 10, which is where Dr. Mengele performed his experiments. This was his lab at Auschwitz I. And you can see what Mrs. Brown just said. Look at her face as she sits outside of the building where she and her twin were experimented on. Not only did she survive, she lived and forgave and spread that joy to other people. The sign up top, on the top of the gate at Auschwitz I is "Work brings freedom," and that was in all ways a lie. Work, no matter how hard you worked, you did not get to be free from Auschwitz. The idea behind Auschwitz was efficiency and the final solution of the Nazi regime. In 5 years, there were 1.3 million people deported to Auschwitz, and 1.1 million were killed there. This is Auschwitz I, where they have the first experimental gas chambers, where they were experimenting with the way to kill people most efficiently. So that is outside of the gas chambers. The next picture will show you the interior of that building, which is the two remaining crematoriums that were there. This is reconstructed, so this was all destroyed by the Nazis before they left the camp, but these two were put back together as part of the museum so that people could see what had been there. This is actually Birkenau, where there were 6 crematoriums, and it's 40 square acres. This is where most of the Jewish prisoners were brought, so this is a different camp than the previous pictures. They were able to process 10,000 people a day at this camp between the 6 crematoriums. This is an image of the selection platform to give you an idea of how many people would have been unloaded and sorted to the right or to the left in a transport. This is what's left of the crematoria at Auschwitz-Birkenau. So before the Nazis left the camp, they destroyed as much as they could. So this is what's left of the actual crematoria that were there. That's where most of the people were headed off of those transports. If they were selected to survive, this is the barracks that they were sent into. The first barrack is where they slept, the second barrack is the bathroom. Eva's message with forgiveness was that there is no benefit to staying a victim. And that's the message that she wanted to spread through candles and through these trips. It's the message that she's going to talk to you about in the speech in just a minute as well. So that is a picture of Eva outside of the barrack that she stayed in. That was the twins' barrack. It was burned down, but that's the sign in front of the twins' barrack. And you can, again, see what forgiveness did for her. That through forgiveness, she was able to sit in a place that had been nothing but torture for her and smile. So Eva wrote a speech that she hoped to deliver today at the 75th liberation of Auschwitz. She submitted that speech to the museum just days before she passed away. And today she has her son there, her friends, people that worked at her museum representing her, and Alex is going to read the speech that she wrote. She called this the most important speech that she had ever written. So please help us honor her today as you listen to her son read the words that she wanted the world to hear today.
Dear friends, 75 years ago, 4 days before my 11th birthday, my sister Miriam and I sought shelter inside a barracks at Auschwitz I. My memory of that day is very vivid. We woke up on that morning and all the terrible sounds of war were eerily silent. A woman suddenly came into the barracks yelling loudly, "We are free! We are free!" As children, we thought she had given way to madness after all this time. Miriam, my twin sister, had talked about the idea before, freedom. We wondered, could it be this? It would be the day that we would be free? But what did that mean, free? Along with many others, we went outside to see what was happening. There were many people, but one group attracted our attention because they were wearing white camouflage coats. And they didn't look like the Nazis. That had to be good. It was the Soviet army, there to liberate us. We went up to them. They gave us cookies, chocolates, and hugs. Everything a child could have dreamt about at that moment. That was when I realized that Miriam and I were free and alive, and we had survived. We desperately wanted to go home and find our family. But at age 10, certainly did not know how to accomplish that great feat by ourselves. It was only because of fellow survivor Mrs. Rosalind Chamberlain, who knew my mother pre-war, that we ever arrived home safely. These are only a few of my memories. It is these memories that are the source of my strength and motivations for many of my actions. I'm here today to declare that despite these vivid memories, we all still have much work to do. Much of the world around us is in turmoil with hate crimes and anti-Semitic violence at a level not seen since World War II. It is in part due to the current world situation that my active responsibility to share my memories in an effort to educate the world with the hope that this education will keep another Auschwitz from happening feels more urgent than ever. There is nothing I can do to change my past, but I can change my future and hopefully that of others. Saying never again is not enough. We must act with definite purpose and a common goal for the sake of ourselves and others. It is up to us to actively teach today's world, especially our youth, why respect and common decency for everyone, regardless of race, religion, or any other difference, is so important. And until we use that education to begin to heal our own wounds on the most basic level and allow ourselves, the former prisoners, to be free of the pain of our tragic past, we will never be truly free. It is my opinion that being free survivors ensure their eternal peace and fortify their abilities to reach out and educate others with their memories. In my life, I have met with survivors and perpetrators, as well as their children and grandchildren, and new generations of hundreds of Germans born children who all share something, guilt. For some, this guilt was because of the memories of their own actions. For others, this guilt is because of the knowledge and memories of the actions of individuals whom they do not know. Nothing positive has developed in them because of this guilt. But yet the human interaction with generations of Germans long removed from the Holocaust have been for me incredibly powerful and positive. I leave you with this question. How do we use our memories today to change the course of events for future generations living long past our own mortalities? We all have the power within us which we can use to answer this question for the betterment of humanity. My power from within is forgiveness as a way to heal and empower myself. I suggest that we all have the power to forgive those who have wronged us, not for the benefit of them, but because all of us finally deserve to live free in a way that allows us to share our memories without reliving the unbearable and agonizing pain of our past with every spoken word and shared memory. By doing so, we challenge any perpetrator, possible perpetrator, or denier of today or the future by empowering ourselves and others with the undeniable and unforgettable truth of what happened here each and every day. Our memories will provide the necessary fuel to light the way to hope, healing, understanding, goodwill, and peace for humanity. Like our vivid memories of horrible crimes against us and millions of others can never be washed away or forgotten. But how do we deal with these memories is our choice. Let there be a beginning which includes hope for mankind, and let it begin with us. Thank you. Eva Court, A-7063.
Okay, so at the camp, one of the last things we do as a group is a memorial service that Eva would lead, and that included lighting a candle, and she would say that the light of one single candle can illuminate the darkness of the entire universe. Use your light to illuminate some dark corner of the world. So we would like you to go ahead and snap your glow sticks, and we're going to play a song that one of Eva's friends, a Scottish musician, wrote for her called Indiana Blues. message from Eva. This was the day before she passed away at the camp. She was talking in front of the cattle car about what it was like to get off there on the selection platform, and somebody in our group started crying, and this was her response to them.
Don't cry. Don't cry. It's a happy story. And I'm here to tell everybody this one. I sometimes joke about it, but it's true. I say I beat Hitler, I beat Mengele, I beat the Nazis, I beat the communists, and I am here to tell my story. Not a very good shape. I have an upper respiratory infection, but I have a antibiotic.
If you couldn't hear her, what she said was, no crying, it's a happy story. I survived. And what Eva wanted for everyone that heard her was for them to have a happy story too. So, as you leave here today, I hope you take that message with you. You find a way to spread your light into the dark corners of the world. Thank you.
You just press that.